Hey there guys, Elita-Legionarii here, and today I've got a replay for Rome Total Warfare 31k of course. It's actually a replay that I commentated several months ago, about 3 months ago, but I never actually uploaded it. I just noticed it in my folder. It was a really good battle too. It's actually a battle I didn't win as a team, and in the battle I kind of wanted to do a bit of an emphasis, or in the battle I was talking about or emphasizing how Rome is really very good at killing off Macedon, but I was also pointing out how I kind of screwed up for my own team. I wanted to criticize my own actions there, so I give you a bit of an idea of what to look out for in the battles. That's what I was sort of going for in this battle. And I had intended to upload it about 3 months ago, sort of before I took my long extended break, but I never got round to it for some reason. So basically I just put this little kind of intro part into the video because I might say things that are several months kind of out of date. I might talk about things like as if they were happening back in March, even though now it's like June. So I just thought I'd point that out before I actually started the video. So yeah, keep in mind that the video is several months old, so some of the commentary might, just in places, not very often, just a couple little places, I mostly focus on what's going on in the battle anyway. It just might sound a little bit like it's a few months out of date. But anyway guys, hope you enjoy the battle, and I'll let you get into it. Hello there folks, Elita-Legionarii here, and today I have one of those battles that was a great battle, but you personally screwed it up by making a very bad move. It was a really nice 3v3 battle for Rome Total War 31k of course, but I pretty much screwed it up right when it really could have been winnable. And I wanted to go on just to talk about, always basically playing at the best of your ability, or like not slackening up on the battlefield, if you know what I mean. Like sometimes you get into a good situation on the battlefield and you kind of take some of the pressure off the enemy, or you just think, nah, we've got this one, and you don't play quite as hard as you could, and sometimes it can turn around against you. This is a battle like that, and I kind of want to talk about that aspect of things in this particular battle, and basically to maintain that constant pressure on your opponent, basically. Anyway, this is a 3v3 31k, like I said. It consists of myself with the Julii Romans, all my allies are Julii Romans. On my right is Biscuits from the Heaven clan, and Mo on the left from the Titans clan. Our opponents are OrmenLange of the COH clan with the Senate, another Senate army under command of THOR of TNG, and Macedon under the command of Cleomenes of the Greek clan. So plenty of experience here, plenty of good players, and it's a really interesting battle here. Also, in this battle, I want to show, now not that every player is going to need this, but there's some newer players, and I still see this, even amongst some of the more experienced players, I still see players struggling to deal with Macedon when they're in command of a Roman army. So I'm going to use this as an example of how to take down Macedonian infantry with a Roman army, because it's actually pretty easy, because the Roman troops are much stronger. But I just see this sort of apprehensive approach from people when they deal with Macedon. So anyway, I was going to rush up here and engage Thor. What I actually thought of doing, but Biscuits didn't do it. I was thinking if Biscuits rushed up here, engaged Cleo there, I could peel off some units and attack Cleo on the flank and hold these units here if Mo just reinforced me. But Biscuits, I said to him rush up, but I wanted to rush forward here. But what I didn't want to happen here was, as you can see, Cleo's going to get his archers, his 3 Cretan archers here. Actually, I haven't outlined the armies. I'll just do that very briefly. I'm 14-6. Mo is 14-6, and I think Biscuits is 14-6. Nothing special there. The two Senate players are also 14-6, I think, by the looks of things. I don't see any first cohorts or anything. And then I think Cleo is 3 archers, 4 cav, and 13 pikes, I think. So that's the armies. But yeah, as you can see, Cleo's going to shift it on my flank. And what I really thought about doing here was Biscuits really gunning it for Cleo, but Biscuits didn't do that. I thought it was an opportunity missed, to be honest. I tried communicating it to him, but by the time I communicated to him, the opportunity was lost. And I have to retreat back here because Thor puts pressure on me. But I reckon that would have been an opportunity to potentially attack Cleo. And with a bit of support from Mo, I could have avoided being double teamed from these guys. So I have to pull back to avoid that, because I don't want to lose unnecessary men. Now over on the right here, we saw this as an opportunity to put a rush down on Cleo, try and get his archers here. So Biscuits puts the rush in, and we're sending our cav this way to go and do that. Biscuits does get a few of these guys, but these companions are here, and the pikes is now actually snagged Biscuits' cav here. And of course Cleo puts a charge in here, and I believe that actually causes a rout, but I would imagine that unit will come back. Over here, as you can see, like, Cleo's in a pretty terrible position here. So I wanted to rush Cleo here, while Biscuits, as you can see, starts throwing in plenty of peeler. This was actually a bad positional mistake by Cleo, but this unit gets pretty hammered by peeler. A couple of units actually get pretty hammered by peeler, but and this unit here is probably going to get pretty damaged by them too, and actually routes. But overall, Cleo recognises he was in a bit of a mess, but as you can see, he did lose probably, I'd say, 1.5 units of raw pikemen there, and then this unit routed too. So we got off to a pretty good start against Cleo there, and we made up for a bit of a lost opportunity against Cleo's army earlier on, and managed to get a bit more damage instead. We look at here, Mo looks like he's going to make a flanking action against OrmenLange, and we're going to sort of push in here, and I really just want to focus here on Cleo. Now Macedon's pretty strong in the centre here, but the thing is, when you play as Rome against Macedon, you do have a number of advantages, such as peeler and having much more aggressive attacking infantry. Macedon's real strength against Rome, not that it really has a lot, is simply because there's lots of them. The raw pikemen are 121 men in each unit, so there's lots of them. But if you play Rome against Macedon, unless there's like other situations, obviously you have to read the tactical situation on the battlefield as it's developing. But in pure straight just 1v1ing, or like if you manage to single out an opponent, you should have no real reason to fear Macedon. At least the raw pikemen, they're not really a danger to Roman infantry. And I still see experienced players, people who have been playing for a number of months, being really apprehensive and just not attacking Macedon. Now you can see these units here in loose formation. I've kept them in loose just in case there were Roman units to come at me, but I don't actually need to do this. So again, you do not need to use loose formation units against Macedon, because Macedon does not use peeler. Now, it's very important when you play Rome against Macedon that you manual your peeler. Don't just turn all your peeler on, let them hurl them at this first unit. I'm not targeting this first unit. I'm targeting this one behind. As you can see, it's at 99. So I'm focusing fire on it with my 3 opening units here. So as you can see, it's manual control them over the top there and into the tight units. Okay, and Cleo loses quite a number of pikes that way. And Rome can dominate over Macedon that way just by really chipping. They've really got very big vulnerability to peeler. Anyway, not to miss out what's going on the other side of the field, Biscuits is also doing the same. But I think he's on auto control, but it doesn't really matter here because Thor is in tight formation. So Cleo does the only feasible thing, and he rushes me, which is what most Macedonian players will probably do. Most experienced players will probably do if they're seeing that a Roman player is just absolutely piling peeler into them. So when they do that, you get your peeler screens and you get them into testudo, so you can just slot. You got to block these guys so that you have these units in the back here have time to throw their peeler into these tight units. Over here on the top here, you can see that Thor's making a strike here, but Mo drives him back, and there's just peeler dueling going on over here with Biscuits. But again, as you can see, these guys, I get my guys into testudo, and it stops Cleo pushing into me. He wants to try and push into me so I can't use my peeler, but the testudo will stop that happening, and you can once again go back to manual control, targeting tight units like this one here that are heavily exposed on their flank, and just hurling as many peeler into them as you can. And if you can, march your testudos in so you break up their formation, and you can steadily just wear your way down where the Macedon army all the way down. I mean, these units are down like 50, 60, 80, 45, and that's all peeler, all of it. So you can just use your peeler just to wear down a Macedon army until there's very little left of it. But you'll see what Cleo's doing here is Cleo is well aware of these faults and weaknesses in Macedon, of course. But what this is doing is it's taking my attention to do this, because I've got to micro all this, and it's keeping my infantry armies busy, and that's what Macedon's got going for it. It's got that large infantry number, and yes, it will lose to Rome, but it's not going to lose quickly in most cases unless it's outflanked, just because there's 121 men in each unit. Royal Pikemen have pretty solid morale, lots of them. It will hold a Roman army up for a long time. It will lose to a Roman army eventually, but it will be able to hold up for a long time. So Cleo is able to stall me for a long, long time here. That's not a big deal as long as things are going okay on my two flanks. But if things are not going on my flanks well, then I need to be aware of that and shift forces accordingly, because I'm the central player. So for now, as you can see, Biscuits I think is still just peeler dueling here, and he's done a lot of damage too. Thor just goes, and this is what I'm talking about here, manual peeler control. Auto peeler control. You just turn your peeler on, hurl peeler automatically. It's less effective. You need to do things manually. You get much more out of peeler, because peeler does a lot of damage. Anyway, you can see here that Thor pushes forward, and a good charge here by Biscuits causes a rout here, but Biscuits needs to get these guys into tight. They're in loose. That's his general too. He should pull his general back. That's too close to the action in case he gets charged here. But he's doing okay for now. And as you can see, I'm putting my Testudos in. Again, you can drive Testudos into the formations to help break up their formations, which makes them much more susceptible. But also, you can exhaust their units on the Testudo as well, which will mean Macedon's even easier to rout. So at this point, my first urban unit routs. And given the amount of damage that Macedon has taken, if you look to all these Royal Pikemen that have been killed, and they're like depleted into their 40s, their 60s, their 80s, it's been a pretty good trade-off so far. So that's, manual control of your peeler will enable you to do that, and if you just use the right kind of formations, you can make Macedon's job very difficult, because you have a significant advantage. Over on this side, I think it's just a bit of peeler dueling again from Mo here. He'll be using manual control. Over here, as you can see, Cav Strike comes in here, and this is where I made a mistake, you see. I had my Cav up here with Mo, but the reason I did that is because Cleo had his Cav up here as well. But they're in a better position here because Cleo can very quickly come and support this, whereas me, I have to go all the way around, and these pikes are actually in my way. So this isn't a good move on my part. I'm making a mistake. I was very focused on what I was doing to Macedon, and I wasn't reading the entire battlefield very well at this particular time. So Biscuits is in trouble here. What I really should be doing is peeling off several units to go and reinforce them, because I actually do not need all these infantry for Macedon. As you can see, a number of them have already peeled several of Macedon's units, which has been severely peeled. So I do not need all those infantry units for them, so I should be reinforcing this, because I'm not sure what's happened with Biscuits' Cav, but I think he seems to have lost most of it. And that's giving him Thor the advantage, because he's got more Cav to work with than Biscuits. And Cleo reinforces him well, and he's going to get a charge in here, and this is going to be pretty brutal. Now I'm bringing infantry over to help him, but I'm noticing that Biscuits' whole army starts chain routing here. And this is something else I want to point out. If you see a chain rout happening on the battlefield, or a very near chain rout, you have to actively think, should I reinforce it at that point with my units? Because you have to bear in mind that they've got a mass rout starting to roll on here, and if you throw your units in, that mass rout might roll onto your units and they might rout as well. So sometimes it's actually not a good idea to reinforce if you think that your guys will rout as well. If you think they won't, then yes, you should, but if they do, look like they're going to mass rout, then you could best to pull back. Now, Biscuits stabilised here, so I really should have pushed forward more here. This was a mistake. So I didn't support Biscuits well here at all, to be honest. I recognised that Biscuits was reinforced, starting to regroup here, but then again his general dies in this charge. These guys die, and I know at this point I really am not going to be able to help Biscuits as much as I want to. I'm better to just consolidate my flank, keep my units prepared and ready, wait for a good opportunity. Hopefully my opponents might overextend themselves and make a mistake. In the meantime, continue to use Peeler against Macedon here, and as you can see, I've pulled back from my engagement with Macedon, and I'm going to shift around the flanks more, and I'm using the Testudo to burst open the front lines of Cleo's units, because Cleo's units are really pretty heavily depleted, and several of his pikes are in different locations on the battlefield. So a realistic job now would be to really get rid of this middle section of Macedonian troops. I have the means to do it, and I still have 5 infantry here and some cav here, and I should be able to hold these units in bay here, but at this point it's where Mo would probably want to get the hammer down. But again, he's got OrmenLange's infantry and cav here, so he needs to be careful about it. But we've lost that wing over there, so it's very important that you kind of compensate for what you've lost by putting pressure on in another location. So at this stage I'm going to push my guys forward. Now I'm going to allow my guys to throw their Peeler automatically, because everything here is bunched up in a tight formation, so they won't fire into crappy units. They'll fire into anything. So in that situation, auto Peeler is fine, and auto Peeler does save a lot of time, but you should manual as much as you can within reason of time. In this case though, as you can see, heaps of these units are in really tight formations, so auto Peeler is completely fine here. And once I've done that, I'm going to pull back, I'm going to consolidate my flank here, and I'm going to send my cav and help Mo rout OrmenLange, because if Mo wins his fight with OrmenLange, then we're still in really good shape to win here. So now I'm going to start outflanking Cleo's army here as much as I can, and put as much pressure on from the flank, and I want to quickly kill these Royal Pikemen, because I want to free up my infantry to help against Thor's infantry. So I'm going to try slice up here and get the general. As you can see, Mo did a pretty good amount of damage to OrmenLange, but he with Cleo's help, he had to pull out of that before he lost his men, but I decided to go for a slice charge. Mo's going to come and support me here, and we're hopefully going to be able to kill these guys here. I need to get my cav out though, because I'll have a lot of trouble otherwise, but this was a pretty good charge. It was pretty even, but as you can see, Thor's cav's coming in, so they need to get out because they got more cav, with Biscuits having so decisively lost his cav. Now, here's another mistake on my part. You can see that Thor is bringing his army this way. I've left infantry units here. This is mostly in due part because of slow micro. But these are 5 units that are in a place that don't need to be. So what I should be doing is getting infantry over here, because Mo will get overwhelmed otherwise. So this is a mistake on my part. Now what I'm going to do is, I recognise it very quickly. I'm going to quickly send several of these units around the flank, and so outflank Cleo and try and kill Cleo off in the middle here, because I need to get my infantry free to come and help these guys here, because Mo is going to start getting overwhelmed by superior numbers. So I really need to finish Macedon off quickly. I'm trying to run my guys through here just to kill them faster. I'm going to try and flank them on several sides, and then I need to send several units this way to reinforce. Now what I do here is, you can see I've got no Royal Pikemen that are actually facing me, so it's safe for me just to make a little slice charge down the side of these depleted pikemen, which should mass rout them. So you can charge pikes providing you hit them in a good position, and in this case Cleo wasn't facing me, although he does manage to turn some pikes around to face me now, so I do need to get out. But the result is most of Cleo's units start to rout because of that, and I needed to do that because I needed to speed it up. Now here's the part where I make a massive mistake. This is where I think I screwed it up and lost it for our team. You see that with combined pressure from Ormen and Thor's forces attacking Mo, I had to win this fight with Cleo really quickly in order to reinforce it. But I need to help these units here. Now what I need to do is I really need to get infantry over here quickly. And what I decided to do is make a cav charge here, but I don't pay close enough attention to where Cleo is stationed some of these pikes. You see this? See there's pike units in here, but there's only one of them, and I can't really see what direction the pikes are in. I was in a bit of a hurry to try and get this through, and I charged hoping to kill or do severe damage to Thor's general, but I charged into the front of these pikes, but I can barely tell where they are. That was a bad charge on my part. It wasn't a very good one. And I didn't do very good there, although it's not critical at this stage, but as you can see, Mo's starting to rout here. I'm going to quickly push through here and get the rest of these Royal Pikemen. So again, just want to pause one more time. I know I keep pausing, but it just enables me to tell you what's going on without missing the future action of the battle. So Although Cleo was sprawled out a bit, it goes to show you with controlled manual peeler, testoros for stalling, and sort of walking through the pikes if you can, it is very easy to kill Macedonian raw pikemen with urban cohorts. There is really, unless there's other situations developing on the battlefield, there really isn't that much need to be so hesitant in dealing with them. And it's even easier with factions like the Seleucids and with Pontus. But I see a lot of even experienced players doing this with Macedon. They just don't seem to attack them. But you can attack them because it works. Anyway, as you can see, I reinforce over here, but Mo is basically destroyed. Mo is basically destroyed. But again, I think I start to make a big mistake. My critical mistake comes soon. I have not yet marked what direction these pikes are facing. And I know I need to... I'm still in for a good chance. Still got some pretty good amount of infantry. I'm a wee bit outnumbered, but I've got more cav. So, theoretically, I can still win. And what I was thinking to do was... Here's where I make... This is where I believe I screwed it up for our team to win. It was completely my fault for making a bad move. It's a good idea. What I was trying to do here is charge his general, which is what I wanted to do. But... sorry about that, guys. I had to pause the video, or pause the recording. I got interrupted. But anyway, as I was saying, it's about now where I make a huge blunder. I was not observing the direction in which Cleo's pikes, which were in this battle, were facing. So I'm still in for a good chance to win here. It's probably... I've still got a couple of units here. Got some there's still some allied units around the field. They've got a bit more infantry, but a slight advantage there. But I've still got enough infantry, and I've got more cavalry. And with this cavalry, I should be able to give myself the win. But I'm about to make an enormous mistake, which costs us the battle. You'll see what I mean. So let me just unpause it. And I'm going to do a charge here. And I'm not... if I just come from the side or the back, I was trying to get the general, which was a sound idea, but into the front of the pikes, like so. And I'm going to get my cav killed. As you can see, I do get like several units routing. If I just hit the general from a different angle, I probably would have killed him, mass routed this whole corps. But what I've gone done instead is get my cav killed, or most of it killed, which was very bad. Because if I hadn't done that and I got that SPQR general, I probably would have been able to rout this whole cluster of men, because my infantry's still holding quite well. I still have an opportunity here, so I'm going to go in behind and give it another shot. But I see Cleo's going to try and outflank me here, so I'm going to pull off my general to try and stop that. And I'm going to try and go in to get another rear charge here. I don't get a substantial enough charge though. And I'm trying to get the general here. The pikes I've observed this time, but I made a bad charge because his cav's going to hit the back of my guys. So I really blundered that one up when I charged and hit those pikes just then, because I think I would have won it, to be honest, because as you can see I'm still holding in there pretty nicely. But I stuffed it for our team, because Cleo's made a nice move here. He's just done a nice wee outflanking action here, which has got my guys slightly outflanked. And now he's trying to come behind me. I'm trying to use my general to stop this from happening, because I know if I get outflanked my guys will collapse. One more try. I'm going to try and get at these units here. Should have targeted the general, didn't. That was stupid. Because if I kill his general, if I kill his general, I'll almost certainly rout his guys here. But Cleo's going to outflank me here, and Thor is being smart too. He's sending a couple of units around to outflank me. So it's a good move by Thor and Cleo that outflank me, because as you can see I've got another rout going. I've got a couple of these Macedonian units to go, but because I get outflanked here, my guys are going to rout instead. And that is unfortunate, because if I was really in for a go of this here, this is so close. But it's just going to turn against me in those last final moments. As you can see, my units start to rout. Two of them go there. I've got behind Cleo's general here, trying to kill his general, but he's turned it round. A couple of my units start to go. 1, 2, and these units any moment now will go. Another one goes. I've got my cav still charging what's left of them, and pretty soon my guys are going to rout. They're now trapped between the pikes and the remainder of Ormen and Thor's men. And he's turned his general around to fight my general here, and he's got the numbers, so he's going to win. As you can see, these remaining units give up and they start mass routing. So there's no other way to look at this battle. I completely caused our team to lose when we should have really won, because I had the cavalry advantage and I should have been able to win with that, but I did not observe what I was doing enough in this fight, and I ended up killing off probably half of the remaining cav I had, just because I didn't observe where Cleo's pikes were directed, because I couldn't see them sort of in all that cluster of men. So that's why you're going to constantly observe those things, because if you don't, that can happen. Because I had the advantage there, there's no other way around it. I had the cavalry advantage. If you had the cavalry advantage like that at the end stage of the game, you really should be winning it. And I stuffed it up by not observing it enough. So the reason our team lost was my fault, because I made some big mistakes. I got plenty of kills, but that just comes from killing off Macedon, because Macedon's got loads of men, as you can see. But it was very close. It was an exceptionally good game, I felt. Mo and Biscuits did a nice job there. I think the mistakes that caused the loss really were with me in this battle. I think I didn't back Biscuits enough at the right time. Although I did make that point earlier on in the battle, that if you go in to back your opponent that's already being mass routed, it could cause your own guys to mass rout. So you do have to weigh if it's too late or not. But there were times there where I could have backed Biscuits better, and I didn't, and that caused him to rout. Cleo did a nice job distracting me. I was beating Cleo's pikes for sure, as I should with Macedon, as I should with Rome versus Macedon. But he knew what he was doing. He's holding me up there, and he got a nice 1,588 kills, allowing him to use his cav to zip around the field and get nice attacks against the other two. I didn't support Mo fast enough either at the last stage. I left too many of my infantry fighting the remainder of Cleo's pikes. They should have just left a minimal amount of forces to do that and gone and backed up Mo, and Mo probably wouldn't have been routed as he was. So clearly I think I made the majority of mistakes. I didn't back my opponents quite as well as I should for the central player, and I didn't observe that battlefield. I still think we're in to win that one solidly there at the end, until I stuffed up with that cav charge. But as you can see, all the kills around the field are fairly evenly dispersed here, so it shows you how close this one really was. It was a fantastic game. Everyone here is a Julii, so I think the top player here was... who's the top player there? I was trying to think. I'm not sure. Whoever has the most kills would be me, because I killed the most. Yeah, a lot of my infantry got all over 100 kills. This is me in the middle here. This would be Mo up the top, I assume, and then Biscuits here. So we've got Captain Augustus as Mo, Captain Decimus as me, and Captain Appius is Biscuits, I think. And I just didn't back that as well as I should have. Didn't realise here, but looks like Biscuits went with a more infantry-based build. I didn't notice that. But yeah, I think the reason we lost probably should lie on my shoulders there. Definitely, I think it's important as a commentator to, in my opinion at least, to show losses. And I'm not going to lie, I prefer to show victories because that's more fun, to show you good moments on the battlefield. But I promise you guys, I lose probably just as much as I win. So even though I don't show all my losses, because sometimes they're a bit embarrassing, and sometimes you don't always want to show your losses as a commentator. You want to show your victories, but it's important, I think, to show losses. And I think even though I've got high kills in this battle, I think that doesn't matter. Kills is not the point. I made mistakes that didn't support my allies enough, and I made the big blunder at the end, which caused the team to lose. So I think it's a good idea to be able to look at your own actions on the battlefield and say, I was the reason we lost, and I was in this battle. And it's good like that, because I think too many commentators out there for Total War don't do that. And I understand not wanting to show your losses, because honestly I prefer not to show lots of losses. But I know I need to show losses, because I assure you guys I do lose, and do lose quite a bit. So that's why it's important to show losses. But I think everyone played well in this game. I think the mistakes came from me, like I said, but I had a lot of fun. It was a very close game. It was still an epic battle, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. So I'll link Biscuits' channel. I'm sure most of you already know Biscuits and you don't need any help finding him, but I'll link him anyway. He'll appreciate the views, I'm sure. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon next time.